Hello everybody, my name is Lena and welcome to this really small review. Today I want to talk to you about one of the best books that I have ever read. Yeah, probably. This is The Sword of Kaigen by ML1, and this is a super dark and super fascinating adult fantasy. It's not often that I find a book that is just gripping and dark and really sad at the same time, and it's really weird for me to actually like them this much, but The Sword of Kaigen is a hidden gem, and these are the reasons why you need to read this. By the way, The Sword of Kaigen is, as I've told you, a really dark book, and it kind of covers really dark topics, so if you're sensible to rape or dead children, that kind of stuff, this might not be the book for you. So in The Sword of Kaigen we follow two different characters, Misaki and Mamoru. They are actually mother and son, and they both belong to this family called the Matsudas. This family is quite special because they have this kind of unique power that can also be learned on their family. That is the Whispering Blade, meaning they can make a blade with ice that it requires so much concentration that you can basically cut through everything. And that leads me to the entire world of The Sword of Kaigen. Well, in here we are kind of a present day type of thing, but in this part of the world, The Sword of Kaigen, we have this traditional village where they embrace this traditional way of living. They don't have cell phones, they barely have TV actually. They have a couple of them, but basically to learn about the state of the government. The world building in The Sword of Kaigen is actually very complex for being a standalone novel. This is a prequel to this other series called The Theonite that is actually on hold. She's not going to release any book in that series soon. We have different type of gods in here and different lands, basically, different empires. And we have two especially that were in a gigantic war in the past. Those were Kaigen and Ranga. And we have this really complex thing here where the Empire of Kaigen is basically controlling their population by lying to them in television and hiding things from there. And that is one of the first points of inflection, to say that, at the beginning of the book, that will definitely grip you in, because my goodness, it was so fantastic. We're set in this situation where we are going to follow at the beginning basically only Mamoru. He is going to this kind of really prestigious academy in Kaigen where he's training to become this warrior. And even though we are in a time of peace, the warriors in Kaigen are still training all the time, and their culture is only based around that. So we start with him, and when he gets to school, he discovers that there's a kind of a new student there that actually comes from the capital, and we have this kind of modern thought clashing with this more traditional thought. It was one of the first things that just made me want to read more, because the new student, he just talks all the time, and he just says the first thing that comes to his mind all the time, and it's just clashing constantly, which was fantastic. The other character that we are going to focus more between the half of the book towards the end is going to be Misaki, and she's Mamoru's mother, and she's not actually a Matsuda. She was married to Takeru, which was the second son in this family, and she also has this power of her own, and her family basically can manipulate blood. And there's such a cool thing about this family, that they can basically make just like human puppets, because they can control their blood, so they can make them do whatever they want. And it's just kind of a myth, but maybe it's not a myth, you know. And it was just so fascinating. So they kind of want to have just like a really strong family lineage in this world. So, you know, super powerful girl, super powerful man, super powerful kid. She's trying to adapt at the beginning of the book, even though that it's been years since she's been living here. I think that is almost 20 years or something like that. She's still struggling because she was so much freer. She was more free when she was at the capital and on the other parts of the empire. So she's having a hard time still trying to adapt to this more traditional way, because she basically can't say what she's thinking, and she can't basically talk to her husband because, you know, she's a woman, and here it's not really cool. The only reason that she's here is to breed more children and to take care of them until they are adults. That's it. It's really hard at the beginning, but you see that Misaki is such a strong character, and we have flashbacks of her previous life, and they were really good. I have to say that they were my favorite part, but still, they were so good, and you get to discover so much more of what it is beyond the Sword of Kaigen. So, still 10 out of 10. What I loved basically about this book is that we're using magic constantly. It's not that there's any consequence to use magic. Every family has their own super special power. They are using it all the time. No repercussions. And when you have characters that are so powerful, you need to have this thing that face them being even powerful than them. And it was amazing. But yeah, the constant use of magic was superb. I would kind of say that the most important thing for me in this book were the characters. Mamoru, Misaki, and later Takeru were beyond good characters. They evolved throughout the whole book, each one in their different way, and it felt so unique. They were a blend. Even the secondary characters in here have motives. They weren't just like, oh, hey, how things are doing here, and they will go. No, they were here because of their convictions and their way of being, and it was fantastic. Three main characters become my three favorites so fast. Although it took me a while to like Takeru, but that doesn't matter. You need to read the book to find out why. Another thing that I really enjoy in fantasies is that they are not set on medieval Europe, because, you know, I live in Europe, so it's not that original for me anymore. But this is basically Asian inspired. I mean, you see the dude on the suit here, you know. The author is using constantly terms in Japanese. I think there are. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be completely wrong. But yeah, we have here like fankadigi, faleke, foniaka. They are only using terminology in Japanese, and I love it. I'm just rediscovering my love for Asian inspired fantasy, and they're becoming my favorite so fast. We have a gigantic battle in this book, and it's going to tear your heart out, but that is another thing. And it happens mostly in the middle of the book, so it's not the end. You won't see this battle and the book will be over. No, you're going to be thrown into this battle, and you're going to see the aftermath, and the aftermath is going to continue to break your heart page after page, and you will see so much suffering and so much reality, because, you know, battles are not just won and that's it. No, we have casualties all the time. That, I think, that was portrayed incredibly well in this book. There's only one thing that I would say against this book, and is that I don't think that it's going to be for everyone. I mean, you know, I feel like The Wheel of Time is going to be a good, enjoyable read for everyone, but this is so dark and so heavy at times and hard-hitting that not everyone's going to enjoy it. But if you like fantasy, if you like hard-hitting stories, I will 100% tell you, and you're going to agree with me after you read The Sword of Kaigen. This is going to be all the non-spoilery section, but now I have to say a couple of things that were just like, so spoilers here. Oh my god, I spent just like the last 200 pages of this book just crying, because Mamoru's death was one of the saddest things that I have ever seen. And the chapter just said, yeah, no one is going to know that he was the youngest man in the Matsuda clan that mastered the Whispering Blade. And I was just like, no, don't die, Mamoru. Absolutely fantastic. And the change in Takeru was just like so satisfying, seeing them connect with Misaki. Oh, so those were my kind of thoughts. A little bit spread out out there, but yeah, I love this Sword of Kaigen, so I think you can tell that already. But yeah, that's going to be all for today, and I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!